Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Movie Club. Mike and I are here, and we're talking Scary Movie. Yeah, Scary Movie 6, yeah. I was literally the only person in my theater. I know. Also, admittedly, I went in to watch it, right as the Mexico game kicked off. Yeah, there were, three city blocks shut down. It was all there, um, at the theater that I go to. They have an outdoor section, and they were playing the game on the outdoor screen. So yeah, there was the parking lot was full. The parking garage was full, but yeah, it was only me. Yeah. So they reference a bunch of um, horror movies throughout. They don't even riff off the latest Scream movie. Like the scary movies are based on loosely based on the Scream movies. The first two are. I mean, the second one's not as much, but yeah, then they get off the rails. Yeah. Yeah. The plot line for this is Scream 5, I think. And we're at least 2 past that. I think we're on 7 now at this point. Yeah. But they mention Weapons, which came out last year. Like now I haven't watched a Scream movie since I think 2 or 3. So I may be getting it wrong on which Scream movie they're referencing, but I know it's not the latest one. And it's just like you mention it in there's mention of stuff that happens, but your plot line is on the previous movie. Yeah, I just also I I really do think the Wayans brothers are just I don't know how to put this politely. It's it's Blacker Tyler Perry. Like I guess yeah. Yeah. Well, and I guess what I'm trying to get at is I feel like if I had seen this in a theater that's in a locale that would have been a little more a little more diverse, less white, um, or just with anybody else, basically. Um, I would have heard people reacting a lot more. But watching this, granted, I was watching it by myself. There was little to no comedy. It was me laughing at, really, like, this is just stupid at this point. You know, I was just like, this is how you're coming back to the franchise. I think so. Yeah. Which I mean, admittedly, like, two things need to happen for scary movies, like the scary movie franchise. There needs to be a riffable horror movie, and there needs to be a lot of pop culture zeitgeist that they can pull from. And I think, like, when they made the first few, that was an era, right? Like, there were, Scream had just started, like the Saw movies were coming out. Um, Pop culture was kind of booming. Yeah, like Blair Witch had just come out. Yeah, yeah. Whereas this just felt like, man, this is. I am not the target audience for this film. Yeah, yeah. It's more of that, but it's also it's leaning into stereotypically African American references. Which, admittedly, like, that's kind of been like the Wayans brothers thing. This just felt like, how hard can we hit you over the head? Like, oh, we have the Get Out reference, we have the Sinners reference, we have, the cops tackling the black man and not the homicidal maniac. Like, it's just like, okay, like, how many? Let's just roll the greatest hits. Um, yeah, I was just like, dude. At a certain point, like, at a certain point, when you hear the N word so much, it just becomes like, okay, like, you are just, this is a crutch you're leaning on, to draw your comedic structure, whatever. And yeah, dude, I don't know. I thought I was gonna have way more fun going into this. Oh yeah, Naked Gun. Yeah. Well, you have to remember, like, yeah, you have to remember the Wayans brothers got kicked out. Yeah, yeah. Even if you take out the Wayans not being part of I think 4 or 5, if I remember right. Definitely 5. I think it's also 4. Um, so even between 5 and the reboot, it's been 10 years. So, yeah. I mean, like, to show you how up to date the references are, they literally do 6-7 during the weapons scene. Yeah. I assume I assume that scene was something different. Yeah. I if I had to guess, that scene was always a weapons reference. It's just they changed it. Yeah, that like I feel like in a way weapons landing the way that it did was kind of the green light for the scary movie franchise to get rebooted, because low budget horror started to become super popular again. I mean, like, the Scream movies are gonna draw no matter what, so you can't say, "Oh, that's why they did this." It's like, no, they saw the audience with the release of weapons, with the release of what was coming out like 18 months ago, basically. Because you can't say, "Oh, well, the success of Obsession and Backrooms and that, like, that's happened in the past 2 months." Um, which, by the way, like, Obsession, holy shit, that crew is set for life. Same with the Backrooms crew. Iron Lung, same way, right? Like, these indie horror films are super popular. So I do wonder, right? Like, a, how long was this in writing? Because we have the Get Out reference, we have um Sinners, which, okay, like, Sinners is a recent enough movie. Same with Weapons. Same with, they made some other references to stuff that's kind of recent. Um, the Smile movies. That was another one that they referenced that is fairly recent. But yeah, it makes you wonder, like, okay, I wonder what the writing process is, right? Like, do they write the skits based on something, and then they just have a collection of skits in kind of the same way that, well, Curb, or I was gonna say, like, the Jackass movies get made, where they just have a collection of stuff, um, and then they just kind of choose which ones they want to put in, or are they writing these individual skits? In many ways, it felt like an episode of SNL that was 90 minutes. Yeah, I think people don't realize how important the commercial breaks and the musical act are on SNL. I mean, I think it's the first two National Lampoon movies. Um, National Lampoon's Vacation and then Christmas Vacation. I think those are good enough on their own that, Oh no, it's not a great movie, but it is insanely quotable because it is a collection of skits. Yeah, it's a collection of skits, but they're at least in an order, right? Like there's a storyline to them. In Scary Movie, it just felt like, oh hey, here we have 50 to 60 minutes of skits in between like 20 minutes of skits that are the story. You could put so many of those skit breaks, you could put them anywhere, right? Like they don't tie back to the story, they don't tie back to the progression of the film, anything. You could just put them wherever you want and you're good to go. That's the part that disappoints me the most. Is like like the story's whatever. It's stupid. It's who cares. You knew it was going to be stupid going in, but then to just have these, like I said, there's disorder to the skits because they just don't connect. You know, I guess the only one that connects to the overall, like the Scream story, is the weapons one because it's the laced treats. That's the only one. The Get Out one, the Sinners one. Well, I guess the Sinners one is. It could have happened anywhere in the back half of the movie, I guess. Yeah. I was wondering if we were going to get a hymn reference with, having Marlon Ben in that movie. I figured, like, I would not have been surprised, I guess. Um, and granted, I didn't watch all of that, I watched some of it. Um, so I don't know. Maybe they did reference it and it flew over my head because I didn't watch it enough. But yeah, it's just like, dude, the disappointment walking out of that was palpable from me. Um, because I'm just like, dude, I feel like Super Troopers is going to be so much better. It's got such a low bar to hurdle over um, than this. Like I said, I was expecting to laugh and have somewhat of a good time, but I chuckled. I chuckled at every bit because I'm like, really, this is what we're doing? Okay, whatever. Yeah, Naked Gun was so strong and it did so well, but also like it did so well because it nailed what Naked Gun was all about. It nailed the stupid comedy while being a spoof. I think the problem with this is they're trying too hard for it to be a satire, right? Like if they had just done like a generic funny horror movie, it probably could have worked. But the fact that it is Yeah. And like obviously I knew Anna Faris was coming back. To have the movie open the way that it does, I was like, okay, sure. Sounds good, I guess. And also to be making COVID jokes in 26. Again, like this is it. Yeah. This movie was like bleeding edge comedy and the fact that they have a 6-7 reference. But then they're also, you know, Get Out was what, 2017, 18? COVID's obviously 20. You're at minimum 6 years out of date for some of your references. On top of referencing, on top of the plot being not the current Scream movie. So, I think somebody will let them make another movie. Obviously, they're good enough friends with Tyler Perry that the cost is going to be pretty low because they'll just shoot it on his ranch in Atlanta. So I could see them making a lower budget something like at least one or two of them. Um, do I think we'll get back into the era of the spoof movie? No. I don't think we'll be seeing, um, like what were some of them, like the 300 ripoff or um, not another teen movie or like that stuff. Um, I don't see us getting back to that because I feel like those projects would be put to YouTube, right? Like if somebody wants to do that, YouTube's big enough at this point that they would just put it out on that. So yeah, I mean, like, will the Wayans make more movies? Yes. If that's your question, then yes. Yeah. I do wonder, like, because this is them getting the franchise back, did they go a little harder with some of the black comedy because of that? Yeah. So I'll put it this way in terms of recommending it. If you're a fan of Kai Cenat, of I don't know much about Speed. I don't know if he's really that way or not. Um, if you are a fan of people just like black comedy in general, I guess. Um, yeah, it's too. They'll build up and then they kind of kill the build up, and then they'll try to build up again. And it's just like it never quite does it. So yeah, but, hey, if you want to watch it, sure. Like, yeah, maybe wait for this thing to hit streaming.